Hello folks, Trouble T-Cat here, you're watching Meet the Weapon, and today we're talking about the M249 light machine gun. The M249 LMG, originally known as the M249 SAW for Squad Automatic Weapon, is an American version of the Belgian-made FN Minimi. You might recall FN as the company that manufactures the F2000. The M249 specifically is manufactured by an FN factory inside the United States and has very few differences from the original Minimi. The M249 has been in service with the United States Armed Forces since 1984, although it may begin to be phased out in the near future, with the M27 starting to replace M249s in the Marines in particular. The weapon fires 5.56 by 45mm NATO ammunition, same as the M16, and as well as the linked ammunition used in the game, the 100-200 round boxes you see here. The M249 can accept the standard STANAG magazines used in the M16 or M4 and various other weapons, and these might cause some reliability issues, but yeah. The M249 fires 850 rounds per minute with an effective range of a little under a kilometer. It's got a whole lot of variants. In fact, the one in this game is just sort of the most basic of all models, and the gun's seen action in almost every conflict involving U.S. troops since its adoption in 1984. Although the M249 specifically is essentially exclusive to the United States, the FN Minimi is actually used in over 45 countries and is one of the more prolific light machine guns on the modern battlefield. This gun was brought in basically to replace the M2 Browning and the M60 because those guns were found to be generally too heavy for squads. So, and the M14 and the M16, which were the assault rifles at the time, didn't really have good firepower for sustained automatic fire, which squads occasionally had need of, particularly for suppression and stuff like that. So the M249 is distinctly lighter than those medium machine guns. Hence, you know, it's a light machine gun. This poor guy hit a suppressor on his star, but I still found him by radar after he started shooting. I guess his suppressor was his suppressor done goofed. Anyway, yeah, those weapons were generally too heavy for an infantryman, or so it appeared. Like the M2 Browning was mostly mounted on vehicles. The M60 lighter, but still quite heavy. Whereas the M249, with this lighter round and is generally a lighter weapon, is a lot easier for an infantryman to cope with, and also provides good sustained automatic fire support for a squad. So in the game, how do I feel about it? Well, you know, originally I really didn't care for it at all, but it actually really grew on me. There's really only one attachment setup I use on this gun, which we'll see in just a moment. What I like about this gun in this game is, compared to the other LMGs, it's got very manageable recoil and a very high rate of fire. It doesn't have fantastic damage or range. Because of the high rate of fire, you can have a little bit of difficulty controlling it on occasion, but for the most part, it's, you know, it's just sort of jitters around. It's not too bad. And so it's very nice in that respect, in that it's just got that sort of solid high rate of fire, even if it's not terribly high on accuracy. It makes it a good sort of run and gun option for the light machine gunner. It's not, you know, quite as versatile as the M27 and the RPK in some ways, but it ends up being a sort of a good option for close quarters, and you can slap this down with a bipod and a 4x scope and really milk it as a support gun. But I find the way this weapon is going to be most effective, generally speaking, is... My Claymore really lets me down here, guys. It gets him in the end, but it was just too slow. So here's the loadout I normally use for it. You're seeing here the holographic sight, the foregrip, and the extended mag. The suppressor is also a very popular attachment on this gun to keep the recoil nice and low, and I just realized I forgot to put in transitions between these different clips of gameplay, so there's going to be a bit of hopping around. That's okay though, I'm not going to do it now. It's actually not a big deal. Anyway, so yeah, I really like this as sort of a run and gun weapon with the foregrip and the holographic sight and the extended mags. You can use the suppressor to bring down the recoil, but the reload time is so long on this gun, and the recoil is not that bad anyway. I generally prefer the extended mag so that you know you're not going to have to, you know, reload. You're not going to get caught with your pants down and have that long reload time in the heat of battle, which is something, particularly using this as like a run and gun type weapon, as you are going to want to do with the foregrip and the close range sight. You really don't want to find yourself in a situation where you need to kill fast, but you simply don't have any bullets in the gun, and then reloading takes about 700 hours. And I mean, the equip time on this, the unequip time is pretty long, because it is, you know, a fairly heavy weapon. So even, you know, switching to your pistol is not that fast from the M249. I'm not actually sure if switching to your pistol has a different amount of time it takes, depending on what gun you're using or not. I feel like it does, but I could be wrong about that. I feel like it takes longer with like light machine guns and stuff like that to switch to your pistol. But that may be incorrect. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. But yeah, so it's actually a really nice light machine gun. It ends up being one of my favorites in the game, actually, and the reason for that is just it gives you more firepower than the RPK and the M27, but it's still very, very mobile. And with the high rate of fire, it's still very, very effective. If somebody pops out in front of you, you know, you can even slap a laser sight on this, get your hip fire accuracy up. Basically, you see a lot of people using this thing like a submachine gun, and there's a very good reason for that. It is super, super effective in those close range situations where the low base accuracy and the low range isn't going to hurt you, and the high rate of fire and moderate damage is just a complete blessing. It's just amazing. It is super, super good for you. Oh, it makes me so happy. So that pretty much covers the M249. Left in a bit more gameplay here. Metro is a massive clusterfuck, guys. My team didn't have a good day on this map, and I find this phase in particular is really, really brutal. I want to talk about this map a little bit more, because Metro is a really controversial map. A lot of people think it's like one of the worst fucking maps of all time. I actually really like this map in Rush, because I feel like it's got good variety from the outside park area to the train tunnels and station, and then you've got the outside urban area. I like the variety, I like the movement. And linear maps work okay in Rush, like maps like this and Dunvon Peak, which are basically just a straight line down the middle. It's fine in Rush. Rush is all about attackers having to push through a choke point. A lot of people say, you know, oh, but the BC2 maps were better because you could flank in Rush, and that's true to an extent. There were some more open maps in Bad Company 2 for Rush, but it's actually... The Rush maps have always been, you know, a little bit more tightly constrained, and it's always been about breaking these strong points. And what it comes down to is, even if you can flank and it's more open and stuff like that, there's still going to be a strong enemy area that you have to push through around the objectives. You know, you get around behind them, suddenly you're still going to have to fight all those guys in that area. It's all about breaking enemy strong points, and so linear maps are absolutely fine for that. You know, it's nice to have some more options as attackers. Basically, it just makes it a little bit easier on the attackers. A little bit, but it's still, you know, it's about this kind of straight up, you have to sort of brute force and use your speed and shock warfare and all that shit to just push through and get them out of there and really take control of the area, and that's what Rush is all about. And I think Metro does a really good job of this, but I can also see why people don't like it, because phases like this one in particular, the attackers have 3 ways up. They've got this hallway on the right, and you've got 2 escalators, one of which you pretty much don't want to use because it actually comes up in the middle of the room. You can be shot from all kinds of places. Always feel really, really unsafe trying to go up there. So there's basically 2 ways up, and I mean the third one people don't generally use sometimes, but I tend to feel like it's a really bad idea. You've got 3 ways up, though. The thing about it is the enemies can really, really easily cover all of these, so I mean this is a point where you are trapped in these tight little areas. The escalators are this small hallway, and the enemy is above you in a wide open space with their rocket launchers, their M320s, their frag grenades, and it's just, this is a fucking massacre most of the time. And I think one of the reasons people don't like this map is because it often feels like it's just so easy to lose your momentum in these hallways, get pinned down, trapped by rockets and M320s and grenades, and you just can't move up because you get blown up, you get shot as soon as you get up into that open area. Well, it's actually completely possible to move through here. The thing about it is, you really, really need... This is one of the few times in the game where I really do advocate, you just need to get in there. You just need to fucking go. And if you just go by yourself while your team is hanging back in the hallway, yeah, you're going to get shot instantly. Well, what I mean is, this is one of the areas in the game where it's really important to make a really fast, really hard push. You can't sort of hang back and try and kill them all and then move up when the area is secure, because you're never going to be able to do that. They're respawning up there, and if you try and do that, you're going to just get stuck. What you need to do is actually make a break for the bomb site. Successful attackers on this phase just charge up there, get in there, and get her done. And I'm not doing that here, you can see, and that's not good. But the reason for that is you can't do it by yourself. You just can't. You just die. So, I mean, if your team is for the most part hanging back, you kind of have to too. I actually feel kind of bad about my play here. I should have tried a little bit more to lead by example and, you know, stick with a few teammates who weren't running up. I wasn't sort of thinking right. I wasn't in the right head mode for this map when I was playing this, but that's what you got to do, guys. If you're having a lot of trouble with Metro, particularly with these interior phases, just you have to remember on Metro, particularly on this phase, aggression is key. It's the most important thing. You have to get super mad and get in there and show him who's the fucking boss, or you're just gonna get, you know, pinned down and have dudes exploding all over you. And unless you're into being like a Bukake performer, you're probably not going to enjoy that. And I mean, if you're anything like me, that's not really your style. You're not into being the bitch. It's just what happened to me here. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought of the video. And until next time, Triple T Cat out!